afternoon, good afternoon. Raise your hand if you have taken care of a loved one or are currently taking care of a loved one. All right, most of you. Now keep your hand raised if you found that experience to be a delightful one for you or your loved one. I make a point for effect. This room represents perhaps the best network, the best caliber, the best resources of people that exist in our space to make sure that when they need help, when a life event for them happens, it brings the best resources possible. But many of us here would have liked for a different experience when we were going through that ourselves. It is not a surprise to anyone, it should not be a surprise to everyone, that our current system is not great for anyone. It is not great for care receivers, it is not great for caretakers, it's not great for caregivers, it's not even great for the providers that sit in this very room. Our system today is crowded, it's noisy, and it's stressful. About 500,000 home care providers exist in the US, and that's growing year over year. When you think about that, typically that would mean competition, choice, optionality. But rather than choice and optionality, what it's meaning for consumers is noisy, it's uncertainty, it's hard to pick who to choose from. We talked about the system is fragmented. David and Eva talked about care often feels siloed across many, many stages. When a caregiver goes through various phases of where they need help and what help they need, it is stressful and anxiety-inducing for them and their family. At Genworth, the average claimant is 84 years old. Their adult child who's typically taking care of the process is between 55 and 60. And rather than just thinking about how to get the person healthy and give them a good quality of life, people often become project managers, managing the person through various stages and various iterations. I see a lot of you nodding. And perhaps what's most disturbing is there's declining trust in our space, right? There's noise about quality. It's impossible to decipher who is good, who is not, if the reviews are even real. So this problem is real, and unfortunately, it's getting worse. The system is weakening when it needs help at the most important time. We have 10,000 US citizens, Americans, getting to be 65 or over every day. By 2030, 70 million Americans will be over 65. And while not all 70 million have the ability to pay for care, all of them will need some type of care. Home care costs are rising, healthcare costs are rising. And last year, home care costs went up 10%. It was the greatest spike we saw over the last 30 years. 100,000 nurses left the profession last year, right? And we're seeing that in nursing homes in particular. This year, nursing homes will have over a 50% churn in the staff that they have. So at a time when the system is already pressured and aging populations are rising, we're seeing record cost increases. This is undeniably an aging care crisis, and we're living through it. Growing base, out of control costs, lack of trust in the system, and an experience that all of us said needs to get better. I grew up in India. Moved to the US in '95. And in India and in most Asian countries, there is a deep sense of responsibility of taking care of your aging ones. The same way it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to take care of an aging person. India is 125th on the per capita GDP in the world. The US is 7. So what baffles me is we live in one of the wealthiest, arguably the most developed country in the world, but on an important issue like this, we routinely fail. All of the resources, all of the capabilities, all of the skills, and yet we haven't figured out how to solve it. I think this is a problem we need to solve for society, but also to ourselves, right? Today, many of us are customers of the problem. We're taking care of our parent, our grandparent, and uncle and aunt, and don't firsthand experience it. Tomorrow, we'll all be consumers of this problem. And when I'm a consumer of this problem, when I'm a consumer of the service, I'm hoping that I have better answers. And I think, as we've heard over the last day and a half, or last day or so, including dinner last night, I think the solution sits in this very room. right? Senator Stabenow talked about what we all need to do differently. Paul from The Key or Jake from Always Best, who are working with us on trying to figure out a solution. I think we need to think differently about how to go after this and really solve for ourselves. What is the type of care you will want as you age and as you get better? So I want us to imagine a system that works for everyone. Instead of generic care where you are a number, how about a personalized supportive care where it is person-centric? It is about you. It is about what do you need, how do you like to be served, what help can we give you, and make it really about the individual. Instead of fragmented and siloed, it's connected and integrated. As somebody gets older, we've got them. We'll help them keep healthy. When they need help, we'll help them figure out what kind of help they need. We'll help them find the right provider that matches their needs and the ethos in which they'd like to be served. And we make sure that it is a connected experience. So as you age over the course of the years, your data, your information, your insights, the person you are carries through. Instead of expensive, it becomes accessible for people. And then a system that balances quality, concierge type care and service, if you will, and then pricing that is able to be accessible by all. So here's what we're building. CareScout is a platform that connects high quality consumers, high quality providers with consumers of high quality service. Our goal is to bring this marketplace together. On one side, providers, on one side, care seekers. We want to help older adults do three things: manage their health, find high quality care, and then enable their lives. Managing their health is making sure they have wellness, healthy living, assessment type capabilities when something goes wrong. Finding high quality care across different situses, whether it's home care, home health, assisted living, nursing homes, specialized care, everything from dementia to palliative to hospice. We want to find high quality providers that want to offer this person-centric service. And the last is enabling their lives. Enabling their lives on if they need home modifications, if they need transportation services, if they need meal prep. We want to bring providers whose ethos goes to providing high quality care, high quality service for seekers, customers and consumers who want to pay. Our first set of care seekers are Genworth policyholders. Genworth has 1.1 million policyholders and 2.5 million policyholders across life and LTC that will go through the system. We're in conversations with a whole bunch of other insurance carriers that are likely to onboard the system. We'll start with insured and private pay customers who want that balance of quality, price, and concierge, and eventually expand the service. Providers who join the platform get consistent flow, a quality halo at a time where our organizations need that port of strength. And they get an ecosystem of capabilities. Think marketing in a box, recruiting in a box, data and insights in a box. Consumers who join the platform get quality, preferred price, and concierge. What we've just launched is the CareScout Quality Network, which is the first quality network of its kind. We have about 350 providers in 40 states that provide high quality care that have all gone through about 20 different quality criteria. So this is what we're trying to build across an ecosystem that really enables us to solve and support this crisis. As Chris said, my background's in financial services. So I grew up in capital markets and investment banking, not this space, but I've seen our spaces, regulated spaces, go through transformation. Never before in my life, though, have I seen an opportunity that is so mission-centric and margin-centric. Most people in this industry, which I was very surprised by as I came in, banking talked about ROI, market share, profits. This industry talks about doing the right thing all the time. And it's heartwarming. And all of us have a why as to why we're in this space. But this is truly mission-centric and margin-centric. We have plenty of examples in history where when companies do the right thing, loyalty, wallets, market share follows. So I think there's an ability to do this differently. And we see ourselves playing a very small role to solve this big problem. I want to end with an example of what we believe this ecosystem can really feel like.
When I come in the morning, I say, "Hi, Crystal, how are you today?" And she'll respond, wonderful, fantastic, and a bag of chips. The reaction you get from Crystal is genuine. She don't put on, she's just Crystal.
Crystal had a stroke, which put her down for quite a while. As a matter of fact, we were told by many of the doctors that saw her that she's blessed to still be here. In terms of what we were looking for in a caregiver, our main concern was that Crystal would be happy and comfortable. Pam showed up, and from that point on, it's been family. She's creative, she's dependable, all of the other adjectives that you could add to it.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful.
Crystal has always been very involved in fashion. Of course, I have to attribute that to her mother.
When we go to the store, she knows exactly what she's looking for. She like good quality, bright colors, blings.
Bling, bling.
Bling, bling, right?
Yeah.
She has limitations, but she hadn't lost that eye for style.
Yeah.
And if best we can, we're gonna accommodate that.
2, 2, 2, 1.
I think the right attitude have a lot to do with your healing. And that's how with Crystal, she always had that right attitude. You cannot be sad because she make everyone around her so welcome and appreciated wherever we go. And I really appreciate that and I love her for being who she is.
Life, happiness.
It's life, happiness, and
Love. Me and you
together.
forever.
Aging is hard. It does not have to be without confidence, dignity, and grace. We're trying to elevate the system. We're trying to change the system. We invite you to join us. Thank you for your time.